Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. And this one was a tough one right here because if you recall last week, I gave y'all the option to vote on which Nas album I should review. And the choices were, It Was Written, I Am, Illmatic, and God's Son. And this one surprised me. We have an actual tie. Now on Twitter, if memory serves me correctly, God's Son took the votes on Twitter. But on Facebook, however, It Was Written that took the votes. And both albums have, tied. So, and if you go back to my Fat Joe's Jealous One Still Envy album review, when I first started letting y'all vote on what album I should do for the upcoming weeks, whatever, I said in case of a tie, I will randomly pick one. Well, I used random number generator or whatever. I think it's called random.org. And it was written. Now, I'm still going to review God's Son. It won't be next week because I got something really planned next week. It will be the week after. I will review God's Son the week after. And then after that, we'll go back to the voting format at that point in time. But let's go on with It Was Written. Now, this album came out July 2nd, 1996, and it was recorded from 95 to 96. And this is Nas' second album, or studio album, I should say. Which means this was his first album following Illmatic. So, following the moderate sales success of his debut album, Illmatic, Nas chose to focus his efforts in a more mainstream direction. Primarily produced by Trackmasters, it is a departure for him, from the raw, underground tone of his debut album towards a more polished mainstream sound. The album features mafioso and gangster themes and marks the first appearance of Nas' short-lived supergroup, The Firm, which included rappers Foxy Brown, AZ, and Cormega. The album proved to be Nas' most commercially successful release, debuting at #1 on the US Billboard 200 chart. It also launched Nas' mainstream popularity and followed the success of other mafioso rap albums such as Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links, which I heard by the way, I need to find it. However, his stylistic changes and increased mainstream success fostered accusations of selling out within the hip-hop community. It has been viewed by music writers as one of Nas' best records and remains Nas' best-selling release, with over 4 million copies sold in the US alone. So let's stay with the charts real quick, and let me go here. So, like I said, it was #1 in the Billboard 200. It was also #1 in the top R&B hip-hop albums. It was high as #8 in the Canadian album charts, 7th in the. They gave me a real name, but we're gonna go with the and I can't even pronounce this, so we're gonna go with the French charts. 16th in the German charts, which they got meter control charts. In the Netherlands, it was as high as 16th again in the Mega Album Top 100 done in the Netherlands. In Norway, they got the VG Lista. It was high as #10. In Switzerland, which they call the Swiss Music Chart, it was high as 25th. And in the UK, which they call the UK Album Chart, it was as high as #38. And this album was 2 times platinum by the RIAA. And BPI, whatever that stands for, it was gold. And as far as the MC, whatever that stands for, let me see. Music Canada, and BPI stands for British Phonographic Industry, okay. It was platinum in the Music Canada certification, so we'll go with that. So there are a grand total, depending on which version of this album you got, there are a grand total of 14 tracks. Yes, 14 tracks, meaning I cannot do a top 5. I can do a top 3. Now, if you would have got this in Japan or in Europe, there's 15 tracks. Now, the 15 tracks in both of those versions are different though. So if you got, actually, no, that's not true. My fault. I'm sorry. If you got the Japan version, there was 15 tracks. But if you got the European version, there was 16 tracks. So even though there's 16 tracks on there, I still can't give you a top 3 because 1, I'm going by the US version, and 2, there's a skit. So even if I was to include our 15, if you take away the skit, that's 15 tracks. And I said it gotta be more than 15. So yeah, there you go with that. But on to the bonus tracks, I'll get more on that in a second. So here we go with the track listing. The first track is the album intro, as he always does. And this one got more of a slavery type of thing, but the beat on there they used after the skit was pretty nice. The second track is one of the singles, The Message, which is pretty dope, followed by another one of his singles, Street Dreams. More on that one in a minute. Then the fourth track is one of, I would say it's one of Nas's best tracks. I Gave You Power. It's not a single, but there's info on that track. Followed by Watch Them Niggas, them spelling D-E-M, and that features Foxy Brown. Track number 6 is called Taken in Blood, followed by Nas Is Coming featuring Dr. Dre. More on that track in a second. Track number 8 is called Feminine Action, performed by The Firm. Next is The Setup featuring Habit. More on that track in a minute, as far as like my personal thoughts on it. Track number 10 is called Black Girl Lost featuring Joel, JoJo, Haley, followed by Suspect. Then Shootouts. Next is Live Nigga Rap featuring Mobb Deep, followed by the last track, depending on which version you have, If I Rule the World, imagine that, in parentheses, featuring Lauryn Hill. Now, if you got the Japanese version, the European version, or even the US cassette tape version, which includes this bonus track, the track number 15 is called Silent Murder. And then if you got the European version, you would have got a 16 track, which is basically like an enhanced version of Feminine Action called Feminine Action, in parentheses is St. Dennis Style Remix. And this one features AZ, Foxy Brown, and there's one guy named Supreme NTM who performs in another language. But it's the same beat, basically. And the majority of the lyrics are the same. You know, I heard both of them on there, alright. Now, and actually I'm not done with the info on this album, because it was this album came out under Columbia Records. And the producers for this album was Nas, who was the executive producer, obviously. Also, you got Steve Stout, who was another executive producer. You also got DJ Premier, Dr. Dre, Havoc from Mobb Deep, LES, Live Squad, Trackmasters, who was also executive producers. Moving on down the list, because there was more, actually. Let's see. I said Live Squad, Low Ground and Top, General Sounds, Dr. Dre, Dave Atkinson, I mentioned Havoc already. Kurt Gotti, aka Kurt Gowdy. You know, they got two different names for that one, and they both sound the same. Rashad Smith. And regarding the Infernal Action St. Dennis Style Remix, it was adapted by Joey Starr and Cool Sheen, aka, and then of course again Supreme and TM. So let's get on with the singles. So there are 3 singles involved with this album. And the first one, and y'all know what it is, If I Rule the World, imagine that. And that again features Lauryn Hill. It came out June 4th, 1996, and it is based off the 1985 hit song of the same name, which was done by rapper Curtis Blow, and samples the beat of Friends by Rudini. And this single was Nas's first top 20 R&B hit, and was also nominated for a 1997 Grammy Award for Best Rap Solo Performance. Lauryn Hill's verse interpolates the song Walk Right Up to the song by the Phonics. The song's lyrics feature Nas discussing the various things he would do if he ruled the world and everything in it. It is considered one of the best rap songs ever by many publications, including being ranked 88th on WXL's best songs of the 90s. Rather. There's a music video for this, by the way, as well. Now, as far as the charts, the single reached number 53 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, number 17 on the Billboard Hot R&B/Hip Hop Singles and Tracks charts, and number 15 on the Billboard Hot Rap Tracks charts. Say that 5 times fast. Oh, and there's other charts on here as well. We got the Australia chart. It was number 100 on there. Austria, it was 30th on there. Belgium, the Ultra Top 50 Flanders, it was 21st. And then the other Belgian chart, the Ultra Top 50 Ranolia, it was 11th. France, it was 4th as it was in Germany. In the Netherlands, it was 9th. New Zealand, 2nd. Norway, 5th. Sweden, 3rd. Switzerland, 7th. and the UK singles 12th. And the single itself was gold out in France and Germany, selling 250,000 units of this single. So yeah, obviously it was a very successful and popular single. Now, the next single after that is Street Dreams, and this is his second single, obviously. And there's a remix which includes an appearance by R. Kelly, which was released shortly after the original. And believe it or not, the remix version of this song was performed live on an episode of the Nickelodeon series All That in February of 1997. There was a music video for this as well for the original. Now, here's where things get a little bit dicey. The song big budget video directed by Hype Williams was an allusion to the Martin Scorsese, or how you pronounce it, I'm sorry, to Martin's film Casino. It was filmed in Las Vegas around the time Tupac Shakur was murdered, and featured a cameo appearance by Frank Vincent. So yeah, there you go with that. The song was Nas' first to enter the top 50 on the Billboard Hot 100, reaching number 22. It was certified gold by the RIAA in 1997. His only single to achieve this feat. So again, it came out October 22nd, 1996. Actually, I didn't mention the actual day. I didn't mention the year. And again, there's a remix for this one as well. And actually, not only there was a music video for the remix as well. Both of them directed by Hype Williams. Now, it was also 39th on the New Zealand charts, 50th in Sweden, 12th in the UK singles, and I mentioned this already, 22nd in the US Billboard Hot 100, but I didn't mention this part, 18th on the US Hot R&B Hip Hop songs, and number 1 in the US Hot Rap songs, rightfully so. And it made gold. It was certified gold, selling over 500,000 units of this single. So again, another successful single. Now his third single is called The Message, and this is his final single. The song also features scratching, you know, like DJ scratching, provided by Kid Capri, and lyrics about the life of a thug, obviously. The Message was only released as a single in France and did not manage to reach any music charts. A black and white music video was made for the song. And The Message also features voice samples from Nas' 1994 classic New York State of Mind, with Nas saying, "I never sleep because sleep is the cousin of death." And "I ain't the type of brother made for you to start testing." And halftime after his second verse saying, "There ain't an army that can strike back." So, and this single came out February 3rd, 1997. And this got some controversy here. So, and it features feud with both Tupac and Biggie because of the song. So this single, The Message, was released during the feud between the East Coast and the West Coast, obviously. The West Coast hip hop artist Tupac Shakur, Tupac really, viewed the first lyrics of the song, "Fake thug, no love, you get this love, CB4 gusto, your luck low, I didn't know till I was drunk though," as a subliminal diss, since Shakur had already done a track with Bone Thugs and Harmony that mirrored those lines entitled Thug Love, and responded in 2 songs from his last album, Wild Alive, The Don Killuminati, The 7 Day Theory, Bomb First, and Against All Odds. So those were the 2 songs off of that album. Although the 2 rappers purportedly reconciled before Tupac's death, Tupac was never able to edit the lyrics against Nas due to his murder. Now, even though Tupac thought this song was a diss towards him, that's not the case at all. Instead, Nas confirmed that this song was actually a diss towards Biggie, towards the Notorious B.I.G. with the lines, "There's one life, one love, so there can only be one king." While the quote, "There can only be one king," is a tribute to Pablo Escobar, a role model of Nas. This lyric challenged Biggie's title of King of New York at that time of its release. He responded on the track "Kick in the Door" from his 1997 album Life After Death. So yeah, there's a bit of, and I didn't know that either one of those, so that's pretty interesting. So yeah, there you go with that. Now, there's another song off of It Was Written that have some info behind it, and it's some very good info, and it's not a single, and it's I Gave You Power. So this song came out July 2nd, 1996, and it's a jazz fusion style song, which is considered a standout song. It also is on one of Nas's greatest hits, and is a hip hop classic. So here's the thing with I Gave You Power. The song's lyrics are a first-person narrative from the perspective of a gun. In a 2012 interview, Nas stated that he was around a lot of guns at the time he wrote this song and decided to rap about it. An aggressive beat was considered, but ultimately the song ended up accompanied by falling piano notes and stuttering drums. Rolling Stone writer Mark Coleman describes the beat as a spooky jazz fusion groove. The song features a mistake at its start, and I quote, "It's like I'm a gun, shit, it's like I'm a motherfucking gun." Tone of the track masters wanted it removed, but Nas ultimately decided to keep it because otherwise listeners would not understand that the song was from the perspective of a gun. Originally, the song was going to feature a skit in which somebody drops the gun and somebody else picks it up. So this song, I Gave You Power, is the first in a string of Nas songs in which he personifies an object or concept. His 2006 song, Blood Diamond, was compared to I Gave You Power, because of his use of gun personification. Other examples include Money Is My Bitch, Last Words, Project Roach, and Fried Chicken. So, and obviously it had a huge impact on hip-hop culture as Tupac made a song, Me and My Girlfriend, similar to this one. And then of course you got Eminem songs Desperation, and 50 Cent used I Gave You Power to address evolution in hip-hop. So yeah, this was I Gave You Power was a very powerful song right there. Now let me give y'all my favorite tracks off of this album from the bottom up. Watch Them Niggas featuring Foxy Brown. That's a good song, that's a good track, but it's the worst one off this album. I'm not saying it sucks, I'm not saying it's bad or terrible. It's a good song, but compared to the others, it's the worst one. Moving on up, Live Nigga Rap, featuring Mobb Deep, followed by Black Girl Lost, which is a very good one right there. Nas Is Coming, featuring Dr. Dre, and there's some bit of info on that one. Actually, let me get on that real quick because this album got some controversy. So basically, Nas Is Coming began a brief collaboration between Nas, who is an East Coast rapper, and West Coast hip-hop producer Dr. Dre. The alliance also resulted in the formation of The Firm, who made their debut on track number 8 of Affirmative Action. The pairing of the East Coast rapper and the West Coast producer during the period of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry brought criticism from both sides. More controversy ensued though. So obviously, before I even get to that part, so obviously, yeah, you got an East Coast, a highly well-known East Coast rapper hooking up with a highly well-known West Coast producer. Doing the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, that was unheard of at the time. That was crazy. Moving on, though, to another controversy about this album. More controversy ensued when, during the recording of the Firm's album, which I do have and heard, by the way, Kamega was fired from the group by Nas's manager, Steve Stout, and replaced with a young rapper named Nature. Kamega recorded an underground single called Fuck Nas and Nature, which began a rivalry with Nas that persisted with brief periods of reconciliation to the end of 2005. So, yeah, there you go with that. Now, going back to my favorite tracks, I left off on Nas Is Coming featuring Dr. Dre. Then next up on the list is Suspect, which is a very underrated track. That is a good track, and it's an underrated track, especially by me. Like, I heard this album, and I heard Suspect, and I would gloss over it, but I heard it like recently. I'm like, yo, this is actually kind of dope. So yeah, Suspect's a really good track. Affirmative Action, performed by The Firm, obviously. Then of course we got If I Rule the World, imagine that, featuring Lauryn Hill. And then Shoutouts, which is dope as heck. And then of course The Setup, featuring Habit, another underrated track right there. You should listen to that one. And then of course Take It In Blood. Now let me give you my top 3 tracks off this whole album. The third best track, I Gave You Power. That mug is dope as heck, man. That song is so powerful. It's obviously one of Nas's best songs ever. So yeah, you should listen to that one right there, man. His second best song off this album, The Message. Cause that's without question, that's one of my all-time favorite songs right there. That really is. And I got a lot of all-time favorites. That one's up there because the beat is dope. It got that mellow out feel. And of course, this is Nas back in the day, so you know the lyricism is top notch. And then of course, number one is Street Dreams. That beat is out cold, man. It really is, though. When I heard that joint, I'm like, yo, man, that joint is dope. And I heard the remix. I got the remix. The remix is dope as well, but even though the remix features R. Kelly, the original is so much better. It really is. It really is, dog. So, let me give y'all some professional reviews for this album. AllMusic gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Chicago Sun-Times gave it 3.5 out of 4. So did the Chicago Tribune. Entertainment Weekly gave it an A-. The Los Angeles Times gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars. NME gave it 6 out of 10. What are they smoking? Q gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Rolling Stones gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Again, what are they smoking? But yet the Rolling Stone Album Guide gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And The Source gave it 4 out of 5 stars as well. So, what do I think about this album? Well, this is very interesting because even though I consider Illmatic to be Nas's best album, I think a lot of people do, but when it comes to what it was my favorite Nas album, originally it was Written. It was this one. And then as the years went on, it was a tie between this and I Am, because while it was Written, had amazing tracks like, you know, Street Dreams and The Message and I Gave You Power, shout outs, you know, If I Rule the World, Suspect, and The Setup and Take It in Blood and things of that nature. It had a lot of good tracks in it, and of course Nas Is Coming, but I Am had their intro, which is dope as heck, even though it's just a skit. New York State of Mind Part 2, which to me is the better New York State of Mind song. Yes, I like Part 2 over Part 1. Part 1 is a classic, but to me Part 2 is better. You also have Nas Is Like, which is an out cold track. KISSING, Ghetto Prisoners, We Will Survive, of course, Hate Me Now featuring Puff Daddy. So, and of course, You Won't See Me Tonight featuring Lear. So, it's a tough one for one of my favorite Nas album between I Am and It Was Written, but to me, Illmatic was his best one. And then of course, you got Stillmatic, which is good. Godson was good as well. But as far as what I rate this album, I mean, come on now, this is a 5 out of freaking 5 right here, man. There's just too much classic tracks right here. Like I said, the top 3, all of them are classics. If I did a top 5 Take It in Blood, and The Setup would be on that in the top 5, and I'll be mad because I had to leave shout outs out. You know, that and If I Rule the World, I had to leave those 2 tracks out. So yeah, this is a 5 out of 5, and you should have a physical copy of this album in your collection. So yeah, there you go with that. Now, like I said, there will be no voting for the next 2 weeks because I'm going to review the other Nas album that tied this one in 2 weeks. So not next week, but the week after. But next week, though, is my birthday. Yes, August the 18th, next Thursday, Throwback Tunes on my birthday. So you know I got something planned for y'all. I mean, y'all may have a pretty good idea of what it is, but I'm not going to spoil it. So yeah, with that out the way, man, y'all know who this is. This is the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Oh!